Liv, you can't do the conditioner before the shampoo. You have to make sure you shampoo and then add the conditioner. Welcome to a brand new edition of Breaking News with Anchor News. I'm your news anchor, Anchor. Today we're going to be going through all of the February calendar, explaining what events you should pay attention to, which ones you could potentially want to use some gems on, and what to look out for. We have a bunch of amazing new updates, both coming in beta as well as live and confirmed. They will be coming on the horizon, so make sure you watch the full video because I promise there's going to be lots of great information. Make sure you also subscribe. So we have this amazing calendar that was provided by Very Quietly. Amazing work here. All you have to do, don't worry about screenshots on the screen. You can just click on the link in the description. I have all the screenshots available in high definition, so you can just grab those and use those and distribute them. I'd really appreciate it if you take a little bit of time and send this video into your line groups so people know exactly what's going on. So starting this off, obviously we know that a brand new hero of the month just came out. This is Iris. They did make some updates compared to what happened in beta. She originally only dispelled the target over the 3 turns, so now she actually dispels the target and nearby enemies. So I really love what they did with this brand new addition of Iris. So going through her, as far as her static abilities, she has a mana on buff dispel. So this hero receives 10% mana each time a buff is dispelled from this hero, and also resists burn, so has an innate resistance against burn, which this is an amazing resistance because a lot of times there's fire enemies that their only source of damage is burn damage. So she just says, forget it, doesn't do anything to me. So I really appreciate actually both of these. The mana on dispel is quite interesting, especially because it is the target nearby enemies that she's dispelling, also over the course of 3 turns. So you have a chance of definitely regenerating a lot of mana with her ability. As far as her stats go, 784 on her attack, 747 defense, and 1365 on her health. Stats wise, the attack power is definitely pretty high, about average on defense and health. As far as her ability, deals 325% damage to the target and minor damage to nearby enemies. Dispels buffs from the target and nearby enemies at the end of each turn for 3 turns. Deals extra damage against fire, and then also has the elemental link, gives all eyes allies plus 10% attack for 4 turns. Effect cannot be dispelled. So the character is really great, dealing damage, target nearby enemies. It is also running at fast speed. What I really appreciate about her is the fact that she dispels buffs. So this will be a very interesting character going up against characters like Ludwig or Black Knight. So especially if Iris goes off first and then they cast their ability, it's going to resolve removing the taunt, and then after the next turn, resolve removing all of the attack power increase. So ideally you want to get Iris to fire off before Ludwig or Black Knight go off, and then that way it's going to dispel it after the second turn. Everything will be dispelled on that side of the coin. So I really like this, especially with her being at fast speed dispelling. The only character that we really have that's dispelling in the 5 stars in blue is going to be Frida. We do have Sonya, which is also dispelling at fast speed, but Frida's a little bit slow. Being that Iris is at fast speed, I really appreciate what she's going to do on offense. So definitely a character I would recommend getting. Very good in this current meta. What I really like about dispel characters is that they are always good. So as the rotation happens to where some defenses get better than others, dispel is always going to be an effective strategy, being in that. So I really appreciate that. Not to mention it keeps happening over 3 turns. Really awesome. The extra damage against fire, we'll see if it's relevant. So in terms of her on Titans, potentially could be used, but probably not my first choice. She does have pretty awesome attack power. Offense, I already said she's going to be amazing. Defense, I don't think that she's really going to hit it too much. Yet to be seen. Mythic Titans, not so much of an issue. In the tournaments, I could see some relevancy potentially in the So in terms of the tournaments, she's going to be pretty great against the heal tournaments. So moving along into the next part of the calendar is going to be our Ninja Tower, which got released today. I had to go back and actually re-record this segment of the video because some crazy changes actually happened. I really love what they decided to do versus the beta version of the ninjas versus what was actually released. So first up on the list for the Ninja calendar is going to be Topaz, which again was just super awesome. They didn't change anything from her from beta versus the release version, but she's just really important in this time because we have a lot of minion defenses that are going out. Really annoying with the whole Christmas edition with Pengy and making a whole bunch of minions. So Topaz definitely fits in there. Offensively, she's going to be really awesome. 821 attack, 704 defense, 1491 health. Defense a little bit low, but the other two are great. As far as ability, obviously she's got the ninja mana, which means that she hits 100% of her mana, and then it exceeds and goes up to 2x and then 3x. So you're not going to be able to exploit it in rush tournaments, but other than that, can definitely work in your favor. First charge, destroying minions from the target, and then deals 310% damage to the target. All allies get a small amount of mana for each destroyed minion. 2x mana charge to destroy all minions from the target and nearby enemies. Deals 350% damage to the target and nearby enemies. And all allies get a small amount of mana for each destroyed minion. And then 3x is obviously destroy all minions from all enemies, and then deals 390% damage to enemies. And then all allies are going to get mana for each destroyed minion. So this character is really awesome. Being able to destroy the minions first and then deal damage is definitely relevant. Like I mentioned, on offense, she's going to be a great all-star. I actually really like this character too because the yellow ninja that we had before, Mika, really wasn't that great on defense, where I think that Topaz could be awesome enough on offense or defense, being able to just deal a substantial amount of damage. So we're going to see how annoying the ninjas are going to get. I think that with these new characters coming out, we're going to see a lot more ninja defenses because now they have just great ninjas in all the colors. So I do like this character a lot. Gonna be relevant on the Underworld Season 4 final boss with Dr. Mario, being able to destroy that. Mythic Titans, it might be relevant there, being able to destroy those minions, because that does count. So there are some effects, but on a regular Titan, I don't know if she really makes a cut. Probably not. But yeah, so that's Topaz. And then next up is Peridot, which I am so glad that they made the changes to this character, because I remember recording this yesterday and I was like, this character stinks. Doesn't stink anymore because it deals damage and then deals the poison damage and then gives the accuracy decrease as well too. And I don't think that they made it to where it's too overpowered. I know now it is a great character. Before it wasn't, but being able to deal the damage and then go back and also take poison damage is definitely going to be relevant. So 1x charge, 240 damage to target. Target receives 220 poison damage over 2 turns. Target gets minus 35% accuracy for 2 turns. And then second charge, 280 to target nearby enemies. Target nearby enemies are getting the 438 poison damage, and then minus 40% accuracy for 3 turns. And then 3x, 320% damage to all enemies, getting the poison damage, and then minus 54% accuracy for 4 turns. So like I mentioned, I think that they finally now have some really great all-around ninjas. Before in the past, we had Cobalt, we've got Ruby, which is insane. You also have Garnet, which is also in there too. So some really great ninjas. Being able to add Peridot and Topaz is just going to put ninjas over the top. Plus, they're going to be dodging. So if you do get the ninjas, definitely be stoked about either one that you get. But we do have what's called the War of Three Kingdoms global beta event. This is going to start on Monday the 7th. This is a global event, so make sure you are in an alliance before then. You're going to want to take part in this. Actually, I don't think it actually matters if you're in an alliance. No, because you're going to get randomly paired into a giant war of 100 different players. I've released a couple of different content videos on this already. I'll put the link right here as well, so you can watch that video if you're curious as to what the heck the War of the Three Kingdoms is. I will again also be making content that's going to be coming out when it is live and available for us. I should also mention that February 8th is my birthday, so if you want to throw me a whole bunch of money so I can I don't know, enjoy life, you're welcome to do that as well too. I do appreciate like gifts and everything like that. You know, I'm a classy man that deserves to be courted. Anyways, so getting into this, we have Tavern of Legends, nothing too crazy wild going on there. And then same thing in what's cool is we have Valhalla Forever, which does have some characters with Sif, Frigg, and Norns that are confirmed in there. Obviously, Sif and Frigg are going to be great. If you don't have Quenelle, Frigg definitely makes an awesome green character, still very, very relevant. So I could see potential there in terms of what you might be doing. We do also have Atlantis Rising, which I forgot to mention, happening on the 7th. That does have Peridot costume, Tarlac, Frost, and Malausi. The big top picks out of that are going to be Tarlac and Malausi. Obviously, Tarlac amazing on Titans. Malausi is definitely relevant against a lot of cumbersome heroes, especially like a Black Knight, Krampus costume. You fire him off and they essentially don't do anything. So I really love Malausi as well. Rolling right along, we have our characters here that they have the challenge event, which, as you guys know, they've changed the event. So now they've just been introducing brand new costumes that are going to be coming out. I am going to go over all the different beta costumes that were in beta but have yet to be released. So I don't know which ones are going to be released in this new event, but we're going to go through all of them and kind of explain the regular version and the beta version. So first up on the list is going to be White Rabbit, which we know deals damage to target nearby enemies, also gives the target specifically minus 34% defense for 4 turns. So the beta version of White Rabbit that we have, it's going to be now a wizard class hero. You're still going to get the costume bonus, the family bonus that you get normally. The attack power is increased a bit, defense is increased a bit, and health is increased a bit. And still running at fast speed, deals 260% damage to target nearby enemies, so 20% less. But the relevant thing of what changes is that the target nearby enemies get minus 34% defense for 3 turns. So with the original version, it's only 1 target for 4 turns, and then this one is 3 turns for 3 targets, essentially. So obviously on offense, you're going to be probably wanting to use the beta costume against the Titan. I would still definitely recommend using the regular version because you're going to be getting more turns out of it. So not a crazy huge improvement, but I still think it's going to be really awesome being able to give the target nearby enemies the defensive down. So really going to be awesome on offense. Next up on the list is going to be Guardian Panther costume. So the difference is it deals 50% less damage. So the original version is at 210 damage to the target nearby enemies, and then also gets the 54% against dark for 4 turns. So the elemental defense down, which is really important, and also dispelling the target nearby enemies. So now with the beta version, you're going to be getting less upfront damage, but it's all enemies are going to be getting the minus 64% defense against dark for 3 turns, and all enemies are immune to new buffs for 3 turns. So essentially making it again another situation to where we have these Krampus costumes, these Black Knights, stuff like that, to where they're adding the buffs. So being able to go off and use Guardian Panther before they actually cast their special, it makes it so they're immune. So I really like that. But the biggest enhancement to this is going to be the 64% defense against dark for 3 turns. So obviously going to be definitely better against Titans. I think actually going to be better on offense as well too, because especially if you're using this character, you probably have more dark. So you're going to be using more dark heroes on your team and being able to impact all the board. You're not really too worried about the this 160% damage. I mean, it is something that is relevant, but the biggest reason why you're using Guardian Panther is going to be the elemental defensive down and the dispel factor. So I'm kind of in between in terms of the immune to new buff versus dispel. I do like the dispel, but I also just like using Guardian Panther costume to where you don't really care when they go off. So I do like that quite a bit. I think that this version is definitely sweet. Next up is going to be Guardian Kong costume. The regular version is nothing has changed in terms of the damage, still at 250% damage. And then what's really cool is that this has almost a Mitsuko effect to Guardian Kong, so it's going to be reflecting all status effects and 115% damage back to the attacker, and also blocks any negative effects from ice enemies for 4 turns. So one of the big reasons why we did like Guardian Kong was dispelling the status ailments from allies, so being able to dispel. So you lose that, but you get more of a Mitsuko effect. I think I like the regular version a bit more. Obviously, having the ice ability is going to be really sweet if you potentially use Guardian Kong as a tank. Doesn't really have that great of tank stats. They did help out quite a bit on the defensive part of things, but I don't know. I think that it's gonna fit in just as much as Mitsuko, whereas the Guardian Kong original version with the dispel was definitely relevant. It's still a decent amount of damage though, so don't get me wrong, but I think I like the dispel a little bit better on the Guardian Kong. So next up we have Finley costume, which I don't know how they did it, but they found a way to make Finley even better than he originally was. I don't know what's going to actually come out of this beta costume, but we'll see. So you got 365% damage to the target versus 385 on the original version. And then what sets it up is that if the target has buffs and it hits, it targets another enemy, which we know that. And then what ends up happening is all targets get minus 44% defense for 3 turns. So the biggest difference is going to be a little bit less damage, but you're going to be getting more defensive down. It is still only going to be 3 turns, but I mean, that's really, really sweet there. So I will take the 10% extra on the Finley costume. Does it break him? No, I don't think it really breaks him, but I would say that this version is going to be a little bit better than the regular version. So next up on this list, we have Black Knight costume, which they did the reverse. They actually made this version worse. So Black Knight, as we know, has a 50% chance to reduce all received damage to 1 for 3 turns. Now this one, it is for 4 turns. So you're paying a little bit more to get the additional turn. So we get the taunt, which we know about. Again, this is going to be for 4 turns. And then all allies are going to be getting the 30% attack for 4 turns. So what works really well with Black Knight is the fact that all the allies are going to getting the 45% attack, and then it further increases by 20% each time they are hit. And usually when Black Knight goes off, the attack power of your surrounding guys is just through the roof because they get hit with random tiles and stuff like that. So a big draw to be using the regular Black Knight version is your attack power is just through the roof. Whereas this, you have a little bit more protection, might be a little bit more annoying, have the additional turn of taunt. But the big draw to using Black Knight is that all the other allies that Black Knight has, they become a major threat. So you miss out on that. You do still get the 30% attack, but I still like the regular version better. Getting into this is Rumpelstiltskin. I apologize if you can't read it that well. Hopefully we zoom in quite a bit. I had to actually manually type all this out. Completely changes everything that this character does. Skull is dealing the 270% damage on the original version, dealing 270 all enemies, and then they also receive the poison damage, so a ton of damage. Cross is going to be recovering the health, 20% health, and then dispelling the ailments. And then Star is all enemies get 34% defense 3 turns, all allies 48% attack for 3 turns. Now the new beta version going into a monk class now reduces max health by all enemies up to 450. Cannot go lower than 30% of the original max. So it's going to automatically deal 450 and it reduces it so they can't actually gain any more. And then they're also going to gain the corrosive poison, which doesn't really help out that much, but also does do the mana generation down. Okay. And then the cross is going to be boosting the health by 400, exceeding as well, so it can go above your original total. and then immune to new status ailments for 3 turns. And then all enemies are going to be getting the minus 24% mana generation for 3 turns, and they're immune for 3 buffs. So the beta version, I would say it's probably pretty on par in terms of randomness and similarity. What I really like about the original version is that you could just get murdered by Rumpelstiltskin and just not know it. 270% damage is absolutely relevant, whereas you don't have a huge amount of damage that you're taking from Rumpelstiltskin costume. If I had to wager between the two, I'd say they're both pretty similar. It's just gonna be a matter of preference on what it is that you're looking to do. I could totally be completely missing it, but the problem that I've had with Rumpelstiltskin from the very beginning is you have, even if one of these is super broken, you still have a 33% chance of casting that and 66% chance of not casting it. So you're still in a situation, even if one is really, really good, you can potentially just not fire off. And I have had that happen facing up against Rumpelstiltskin, to where they just recover health and it's really not that big of a deal. So we'll see how it actually comes out. But again, I'm not too overly impressed just because of the randomness factor. Next up, we have Marie-Therese costume. Biggest difference here is going to be 30% less damage. But now you're in a situation to where you get boosted health over 4 turns, cannot be dispelled. So you're just going to be getting an additional 600 HP, which is quite a bit of health. And it's going to be, it can be added to your additional health. And then the same situation of the defense in terms of 30% and still over 4 turns. So biggest difference is going to be the boosted health and slightly less damage. Obviously, the beta costume, being that you can exceed your health, is going to be definitely relevant. So I do like the beta costume a bit more. So going along, so that gets rid of all of the stuff that's coming up in the challenge event that will be coming up on the 17th. We do have the Mythic Titan. You're going to want to be bringing the blue homies to that. I also forgot to mention on the 15th, we have the Mirages of Omega Nature. So for all you people that have been saying, when are we going to get the green limit break video, best heroes? It will be released on the 15th. And I also have an absolutely essentially important message that I'm going to be dropping in there, talking about the future as far as what's going on with this channel, what you can do, how you can support if you like the content, a whole bunch of new perks that are going to be released. So you're definitely going to want to watch that. A bunch of people have been saying, when's green coming out? It's coming out on the 15th to match up when all that stuff is, because everybody wonders, who am I going to limit break green? Guys, if you like this, you've made it this far, make sure after this video you send this in your line chat. Send it to all the different alliances that you're part of, and let this video be known so just all the questions get answered all in one video. So next up on this list, we have the situation with the Underwild that's going to happen on season 4 on the 24th of this month. I talked about him a little bit. And we don't know the other featured heroes that are going to be in this. So brand new one though is going to be Kavekrush. Talked about him a little bit before. He's got 786, 776 on his defense and 1409 on his health. All enemies can't revive their allies or themselves for 4 turns. All enemies can't receive status effects that would resurrect them for 4 turns, and deals 405 damage to target and minor damage to nearby enemies. So essentially just shuts off the revive ability. It's going to be really relevant on the rush wars against Mother Norse, stuff like that. Albi, also relevant against the fighter class heroes. So I could see this being a pretty awesome offensive character. Don't see it really fitting in on defense or on the Titans. Now, the most important announcement that is coming up, guys, on the 28th of this month, we have Soul Exchange. Soul Exchange is where you're going to be able to take your duplicate heroes and be able to exchange them over for a specific hero. This is the first time. Now, it is really important to know that you can only do 1 soul exchange per event. I'm assuming that these events are probably going to be bi-monthly, so every other month is my guess. I don't think that it'll ever exceed once a month. My guess is probably going to be every other month, which is a little bit annoying. I wish that they had it to where they came more often. I also am really disappointed that they set themselves up to where you can only do one soul exchange per month. And we'll see if it does still stay at 10, 15, and 20 are the different tier brackets. So if you haven't seen that video, I talk about soul exchange on this video, so you can click on that as well. But guys, this is going to be really awesome. Again, I plan on streaming or making content when this is live and going on. So you guys are going to see quite a bit of me all this month. Lots of new stuff that are coming. I'm pretty excited. Now, to answer your question, if I was going to invest or spend money on this, where are the best ones? I'd be curious to see what happens with the challenge event, to see what heroes are going through there. Also, Valhalla Forever is going to be pretty sweet to do that. We're gonna see, I would say probably those are the events that I would probably look most out for. It's gonna be Valhalla Forever, just because it's got some great heroes in there, and then the challenge event is gonna be pretty sweet. In terms of heroes, must-haves, I think that the brand new ninja one is gonna be great. The yellow ninja. Kavekrush at the end of the month, not too big of a fan there. I'm interested to see what happens with the challenge event, and most excited about the soul exchange. So guys, if you like the content, make sure you subscribe, turn those notifications on, and I'll see you on the next video.